football season.
Oh, well, football!
I live in Alabama, so that's a pretty big deal. College football is a big deal here. I actually can't comprehend what's going on enough to sit and watch a game, but I like the commercials and I love snack food. Like, I love snack food. I could have like snack night for dinner every night. I will probably do that tonight since what I'm about to make is snack food. So, as I've mentioned like 500 times, I've been cutting out dairy and trying to eat better. And it occurred to me, what am I gonna do football season? So I've been trying to like think of different recipes that are normal recipes for like tailgate type food and ways to tweak them to make them healthier. One of my favorite things is cheese dip, which we actually eat like chips and salsa all the time. Like I always have chips and salsa at our house. So when we go get Mexican, we always get cheese dip. And the last time that I had it, like I was sick for like 2 days. Like it just did not sit well. So I was like, man, if what I have in mind comes close to what I'm hoping it tastes like, I might cry. So I'm about to show you guys like what my inspiration was for this, and we'll try to make it and hope that it tastes good. First, I'm going to stick this jalapeno pepper in the oven because roasting them makes them spicier. And as I've said a million times, we love spicy food. So it'll just take like a few minutes to roast on like 400 degrees. It really chars the skin and it gives it like a smoky taste, but it also makes it like really fired up. And I don't like dicing up jalapenos because I've made the mistake before of like touching my face or my eyes after I've had those oils. The way to get rid of that is vinegar. So I do keep it on hand, but I'd rather just not touch it. I'm just gonna slice it in half, stick it in the oven and roast it. I'm gonna shred up some carrot.
Okay, yes.
Carrot with a cheese grater type thing. And explain why I'm using carrot. Okay. So I've referenced before in videos where I'll say like I've worked at a restaurant and blah blah blah, where I've used like a dish at one of the restaurants I work for as like inspiration for what I'm doing. And that's kind of That's kind of what I'm doing now. Really? Is that something you did at school today? So actually, over the span of 6 years, I worked for 2 different restaurants that were both like higher end. Like one was a high-end steak house and one was like seafood and steak too. And the first one that I worked for, we had to learn what, oh gosh, each ingredient, like when you were going to be a server there, you had to know each ingredient in every dish to know if anybody had food allergies, whether they could eat it or not. And in all of that, I learned how many like calories are in everything and how things can come across as healthy and actually not be very healthy. So there was a soup that they had, a tortilla soup, that was probably one of the healthiest things on the menu. A lot of people thought that there was cheese in it because of the color was like, was a little more orange, like a cheddar. And it actually had like a little bit of a cheesy taste to it, even though there was not any cheese in it at all. The reason that it was more of an orange color was because of carrots being in it. Oops. And the cheesiness was like a combination of a lot of the vegetables that they had in it and all of the tortillas in it. And when Chris and I first got married, I would make tortilla soup a lot. I would make it a lot because we were on a newlywed budget, which was like no money. And we, like I said, we eat so much chips and salsa. Like ever since we've been married, we always keep chips and salsa on hand. And you know how like the bottom of the bag gets like the little crumbs? I just take that and shove it in the back of the pantry, and we'll make, once I get enough, we'll make tortilla soup out of it. I'm doing like a scratch version now. There's like a cheat way of making it where You can do like I did in the enchilada pasta, where you just take a jar of salsa and saute it and then add stock to it and get it boiling, put the tortilla chips in there, let them dissolve and mash it up, and then just put whatever you want in there, like black beans or corn or whatever you like in your tortilla soup. My husband actually got some from, I think it was Schlotzsky's the other day, and he was like, I got tortilla soup from Schlotzsky's and it doesn't taste like yours. You've spoiled me. So when I like actually take time and like try to do it like from scratch, it's like, so it's really easy and it's really good. But so my thought process was, since tortilla soup has a little bit of a cheesy taste, I can make like a condensed version of it and blend it up and make it really smooth and try to make it kind of like a cheese dip. You can make it chunkier if you prefer. I'm gonna saute everything and put it in the blender, and I'll like walk through what I'm doing. I want it to be smooth, like the kind of dip you'd get at like a restaurant. I know some party dips, like a Rotel dip, has like the tomatoes in it and like some sausages. Like you could add meat to this too. This is going to be like extremely versatile to it. But I'm just going to shred up a bunch of carrot, and I have diced onion, that jalapeno, and I do have a jar of Rotel over there that I'm gonna put in there. I'm not a big fan of the texture of Rotel. Like I like fresh tomatoes, but I'm gonna put fresh tomatoes on top. But I got the Mexican style lime and cilantro, so it'll have a little bit more flavor to it. Now I will show which spices too I'm putting in there. I don't really measure things that well, so I'm just gonna kind of throw it in and then adjust it as I taste it. But I've been holding on to all of our tortilla chips with this recipe in mind. I wanted to beat football season, honestly, and have this done before it started so that people could have this as like an idea, but it lasts until like, when is football season over? I don't know. So my skillet is heating up right now. I'm doing this in my cast iron. That's kind of how I do everything. I have discovered a few tricks since doing the whole like dairy-free. One thing that I know I talk a lot about the Greek yogurt. Something I've started incorporating into stuff is coconut milk. So I'm gonna try that here also. I'm interested to see how it does. And you can add more vegetables than what I'm doing here if you're good at like sneaking them into stuff. Here's the amount of carrot I have. If I was doing a big batch of tortilla soup, I would have done more, but this is just a small dip. And I had already diced up some onion earlier this week. I just buy one onion at a time and dice it up and grab from that. Here's all of my chips. I have 2 of these bags. We honestly went through both of these in a week. I bought these last Friday, and there's still like a little bit. They're really thin, so they'll cook up really well. I'm also going to grab some stock out of the fridge in case I need more liquid. Gonna put some olive oil so that the onion and carrot don't like burn up. My pepper is already pretty charred. I've flipped it and turned the oven off because I don't want it to get too burned. The pepper I'll be able to just throw in the blender and it'll blend up with everything too. It'll probably be, if you don't like spicy food, I would say use like half of one. If you want to know the noise that you're hearing. Playing in the sink, but oh, so there wasn't much of this salsa left. This is what we had last week, and we have already gone through most of it. I'm actually not going to strain the Rotel because I need a good bit of moisture in the skillet for the tortilla chips to absorb and soften up. And when I do tortilla soup, I'm not doing it in a skillet like this. I'm doing it in a big soup pot. And instead of doing the blender like I'm about to do with this, I take one of those handheld blenders and just use one of those, because you just stick it in there and it gets everything blended up the way that it should be. Okay, so my seasonings, as you saw, I put a good bit of onion in there. So I'm not doing onion powder. I don't have garlic in here, so I'm doing garlic powder. I normally use Worcestershire instead of garlic powder, but this was on sale, so I went ahead and got it. I'm just gonna do a little bit to start off with. Ooh, it smells really good. I never use garlic powder. I always use regular garlic or Worcestershire. A big thing. I feel like chili powder is not one of those little goes a long way. Like I'm opening up the top. I like dump chili powder in there. I go through a lot of it. And that's like really what gives it its zesty, taco-y taste. A little bit of red pepper to add a little more spice. I feel like jalapeno and red pepper are two different kinds of spice. Like, I don't know how to explain it. One of them is more like the aftertaste of like once you've swallowed it, it's like, ooh, that has a kick to it. And then one of them's like essentially like when it hits your tongue, you're like, oh, that's got a kick. So either way, it has a kick, but oh man, this isn't gonna cut it. Okay. Let's do some cilantro. And then cumin is one of those things that a little goes a long way. So I'm just gonna do a little bit at first. Just a little bit. About as much garlic powder as I had used. I am also going to need the lid to this. Because you really, like, I can't stress enough that the chips have to like really dissolve in there. It happens pretty quickly. It's not like something where you leave them there and then like go off and like cut your grass or something. Like you want to keep an eye on it and make sure that you're really mashing them in. This smells really great. I burned some popcorn earlier, so I'm hoping that this like wafts away the burnt popcorn smell. Now I'm gonna do the coconut milk. I'm honestly scared to do it before the tortillas. Stuff can curdle, and I don't know if coconut milk curdles like other milk. Do I want to do stock and then chips and then coconut milk? I think I'll do that. I'm dumping the rest of this. There wasn't much in there. And one seasoning that I'm not putting in here is salt, because the chips are salted plenty enough. And I'm gonna start, so these late July chips are really thin. They're like the restaurant style, so they're thinner than like, I have some of those I may not even use because they're like vegetable chips and they're really thick. Okay, these are lime, so it's a lot of lime in there. And you can like crunch them up too. Okay, putting the lid on will keep all of the steam in there. I just have to make sure it doesn't burn to the bottom. Okay, so another thing that I was going to explain that is like a dairy-free alternative that I've been using in things is this nutritional yeast. I got this at Trader Joe's. I think it was like $4, and I finally found, it took me a while to find Sprouts where they have it, and it was like $6 for half of this. So Trader Joe's definitely wins on that. So it does kind of taste cheddary. You have to use a lot of it to really get that flavor in there. I've done it on like eggs. I've done it in casserole. I did cheese grits with it. It does add a cheddarness to it. So is that a word? Cheddarness? It is now. If you, just when I opened it up, because I like seeing people talk about that, it seriously smells like cheese. So, and it's healthy. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get away with putting it in here. It just kind of depends. I'm going to take a little bit of it and mix a little bit of this in with it and see how it tastes before I just dump this in there, because I don't want to ruin it, because I can't take this out if I've already put it in. So I'm going to be like, y'all are watching me experiment here. And spoiler, if you're watching this video now, you know that the dip turned out really well, because I'm not going to post a video of something that didn't turn out well. So yeah. Okay. Don't let me forget the jalapeno. Please be good. Okay. This is where it gets tough, because this skillet is extremely heavy. And I don't want to burn myself or my child, who's always at my feet when I'm cooking. It smells so good. I'm really expecting it to be good, and it better be. If it is, I'm gonna cry, and if it isn't, I'm gonna cry. The hard part, I need a third arm for this. Ooh, don't spill, please don't spill. No. Okay, a little bit at a time. Yes, I'm thinking about the jalapeno that's in the oven. I didn't forget. Thank you for reminding me, whoever you were that just thought about it. Ugh. hurts my wrist. Look at that non-stick cast iron doing its job. Good job, buddy. Ooh. Okay. You pooped. Okay, I gotta tend to her diaper because it's already barely hanging on as it is. Blended it up. Yes, I did wash my hands after changing her diaper. And I'm going to taste it now before there's any of the yeast in it. So here it is, all blended up. It looks like a thicker version of tortilla soup, basically. Here we go. It's really thick. I forgot the jalapeno. That's what I was thinking. It could be a little spicier. Let me do the jalapeno and then blend it up again. That's what it's missing, I swear. See how shriveled up it got? Okay, I think I am going to get the Greek yogurt out and put it in there because I want it like as creamy as can be. Okay, I'm gonna get the Greek yogurt mixed in and then take a little bit to the side and mix in the yeast and see how that tastes. The jalapeno like really kicked it up a notch. That's good. Oh man. And like I wouldn't say to substitute a fresh jalapeno for pickled. The fresh is like not the same. I don't know. It's so much better than using pickled. Let's do a little more yogurt. Here we go. Just sprinkle a little bit of it. Can you all see? Oh my gosh. And then the jalapeno, it's the jalapeno that's the aftertaste, that's the burn, not the red pepper. Oh my gosh. That's so good. Okay, I gotta put the yeast in there. Oh my gosh. It's so spicy, but it's so good. Gosh, you can add like so much to this. Like you could put some chicken. I'm so excited about this. Okay, I got it. I don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. It's so spicy. I do think adding the Greek yogurt helped too with the creaminess. And you could like make this and throw it in the crock pot and then like whatever you want to add, if you want to just leave it like this, or put like rotel in there or some kind of meat or black beans or something. That's an option too. Then it stays like hot and liquidy-ish. And if you don't want it like as thick as this, like next time I do this, I'd probably get like another can of coconut milk to give it like a little more of a queso-y-ness. Now this is just like a really thick dip. So the next time I make it, I'll probably do 2 cans of coconut milk. My goodness, this is so exciting. Okay. All right, well, I'll keep coming up with some recipes for game day food and we'll try them out together. Let me know if you try this and if you like it, or if you have any ideas of what to add to give it some more cheesiness. But everybody, enjoy your time watching the game. Have a good day. Make sure to subscribe.